Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, poems, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times.
Tell us your name and what you do.
My name is Deborah Moffatt, and I am the podcast host of the Healing Version podcast.
It's a pleasure to meet you again on this podcast. I know I did interview you in my other podcast, but it's nice seeing a familiar face.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Wow. What's the quote you want to share with?
The quote that I want to share is, how do you heal what you don't feel?
Ooh, you cannot heal what you refuse to feel. Hmm. Hmm. What is the experience that contextualize this quote? Basically, what experience of yours is this quote coming? You're pulling this.
I would have to say my childhood and forgiving my parents for um the upbringing that I did not have, and being able to just walk away and be like, you know what? Although they didn't give me what I feel like I should have had when it comes to stability and protection, I'll just give that to my children.
Yeah. You cannot heal what you refuse to. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. I feel like I understand, but even though I do, I'll ask that you explain it.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the healing process, and this is, I'm more so thinking of like emotional and mental healing, because a lot of times when we are going through things and we are having maybe depression, anxiety, abandonment, anything that you can think of that alters the nervous system or messes with the nervous system, we tend to do things to numb it. And by that, I mean smoking, drinking, just not wanting to feel those things that come up. Maybe the bills are piling up. Well, I'm a drink, so I don't have to think about it. Okay, well, now the lights are off. So what you going to do? Or there could be something like some deep rooted wounds. Maybe you were essayed as a child and it still bothers you. And in order for you to forget about it and not think about it, now you are drinking. So essentially, what you're doing is just covering up the wound. You're not healing it. In order to heal that wound, you have to speak about it. First of all, you have to speak out of your mouth what harmed you, what made you feel whatever way that you're feeling. And then at that point, then you figure out, okay, so what are some things that I can do to help me overcome or go through what I'm feeling? So until you be honest with yourself and say what it is that you need to heal from, then you you can't heal. You got to feel it in order to heal it.
Huh. It's nice because everything is coming together. Because recently I did have a conversation with a guest. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, and she talked about she was running from she was avoiding certain things that she needed to do. And now we are here talking about you can't heal if you don't feel, right? What I understand is that a lot of people are running, right? And if you have this pain that you ought to deal with and you're running from the pain, alcohol, all these other things, and you're always running, but the pain will keep chasing you and it will be there. And eventually when you are like, oh, I'm tired of you you don't even have the strength anymore, and it's as if you are you sink in the pain, right? Rather than just dealing with it in the rest. In the
Well, that's a mindset. So feeling defeated and feeling like you can't get out of it and feeling like you're stuck in it, it's a mindset. So you have to also not only feel it, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your words. You can't keep giving life to these situations that you want to get out of and not giving life to the positive that you want to move into. So saying that you are stuck in something, yeah, you're stuck in it because you've told your mind, you've told your psyche that you're stuck in it. So, yeah, you're definitely stuck in it. You have what you say. So, until you change your words and make up your mind that you no longer want to be in whatever situation that you need to heal from, then you're going to be stuck. It's a
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah. Well, I want you to the word you use is so right. I really want you for us to circle that word and really look at what it means in this context, because um there are people who they don't take alcohol, they don't take drugs, but they spend all the time or the day. No, it's really tragic things have happened. You know, how do I explain? They really they they've soaked in it. So for me, the question is, when you say feel, what do you mean by feel? Are you saying that if we've had um terrible things happened, we just spend all the entirety of our life, just trying to replay those terrible things and try like just what's the word, um agonize over it and all that, and now there's time for all those things. But now you have the whole of, you just, that's like every time something comes up, you're like, oh, well, I can't do this because this happened, right? What I mean is that people, granted that tragic things and terrible things happen, but there are situations use people, they use what happened to them in their past as the excuse for why they're not doing what they do in the present or in the future. And they're like, oh yeah, if you're about to say, well, why didn't you do this? Well, I was this happened to me while I was young and all, and at that point in time, you don't really know what to.
So your question is like, how do you feel?
Yeah, what's the feel you talk?
So the feel that I'm talking about is facing the situation head on. So, for example, I discovered maybe 3-4 years ago that I have abandonment issues. And I say have because it's still something that I'm healing from. It's still something that I get triggered by. So I don't get now when I'll get to that later. But anyway, so when I say feel, so what I had to do with my abandonment issues, first I had to recognize like why I was acting the way I was. Why am I so attached to this person? And I had to actually sit down and think about it because I really wanted to know. And then I discovered that it's a codependency, it's an abandonment wound that I have from childhood. Okay, so now that I know that, now I need to figure out how do I start to heal this wound. Now I have to go back to my childhood and find out, well, why do I feel abandoned? Like, why does the little girl in me, the child in me, feel abandoned? Because my dad wasn't around. My dad abandoned me. My mom did some abandoning, but she came back, but she also had played a part in it. But my dad played a major part in it because he wasn't there. So I had to first forgive him. And then I took the initiative to start going to therapy. And a lot of people are against therapy, but I feel like people are misled when it comes to therapy. You have the choice to pick your therapist, whether it's male, female, black, white, Hispanic, whatever you choose for your therapist to be, you have that choice. And if your therapist is not a right fit, and I'm going to tell you after your first session, you will know if the therapist is right for you. So I had the most perfect therapist, and I said had because I don't have her anymore.
Oh,
But she was the most perfect therapist. She was able to meet me where I was at, find out what I was going through. She asked very personal, specific questions to my childhood, how I handled things as an adult. And she was able, I mean, these are licensed people. Like these people went to school, they have degrees, they have, certifications. So she was able to take everything that I told her and able to like break it down and say, okay, so it is abandonment, and I know a little something because I am in school for psychology. I don't have my degree yet,
yeah,
but I know enough to like recognize some things. So she was like, yeah, it is abandonment. So she started giving me homework. Okay, so now I want you to journal. So journaling, because of therapy, journaling has become a major thing for me. Like I have journals right here. I have probably like 5 different journals for just different things. Like I don't write in my podcast journal about my personal life. That's not my podcast journal business. So
yeah,
that was one of the things I had to start journaling. Okay, so when I feel a type of way, when some feelings come about, when I'm triggered, what triggered me? Why did it trigger me? And what am I going to do about it? So when
yeah,
I say feel, I mean, you actually have to go to whatever it is. You got to get out of denial first. I feel like a lot of people are in denial, and that's the reason why they can't start the healing process because they are in denial. They don't want to feel it. So they're like, okay, it's not real. It's not there. This is not happening. And so as long as you have that mindset, you're definitely not going to feel or deal with your stuff. So deal with your stuff. Feel it. A lot of times we know what the things are. We know what we've gone through. We know what's bothering us. We know. Just feel it and deal with it. So that's my example of feeling. And yours may look different. You know, for the audience, your feeling may look different than mine, but that's just an example of feeling. It comes with not being in denial and just holding yourself accountable.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
Yeah. A perfect example of being in denial is the moment someone just brings up the topic, like, no, you switch the topic and like, no, let's talk about something else. And usually before we brought the topic up, there's this like bright smile on the person's face, right? And the moment you just mention it, you just notice like everything just changed, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Bruno.
And that's a lot of it. And I feel like a lot of it is family dynamic as well. A lot of the things have been okay to just sweep under the rug. Oh,
Yeah.
just sweep, like we don't talk about that. We don't, it's become the norm to not deal with your problems. And that's why we have a lot of issues. And one of the things that I do want to say is when you don't deal with those things, like with the depression, anxiety, and that stuff is in your body, it causes physical harm. So you may be depressed. It may start wearing on your kidney. So it's important that we deal with those mental things.
The mind and everything, they are connected, right? If you have a physical pain, it affects your mind. Everything is working. And I like the your example you gave, right? And I know that, of course, that's not a recommendation for what anybody should do. They should seek professional help and talk to the professional. It's actually doing active things to heal, right? Because a lot of persons, they have this false belief that, oh, time will heal me. And that's not true, because time will only heal you if healing is happening, right? So the passage of time doesn't heal anything, right? If you're not doing the healing actually, right? You mentioned that, oh, you have things you are getting better, and that's because you're actually working on the things, right? It's 5 years from now, it will even be worse. You're like, yeah, well, I was hoping that I will heal, and that's why they don't healing is an active process, right? You have to be intentional about it. It's not just, if I just allow 2-3 years to pass, I will heal. I just need to give it 5-10 more years. Of course, healing takes time, but the time will only play a crucial role if you are actually doing something. That, okay, I've been doing this for like 2 months now. If I keep doing this now for maybe 1-2 years, I'll become, I've been able to process and dealt with all these emotions, all these things. Yeah, but we don't do that. So that's where time heals. I'm like,
it's an illusion. Yeah, it's an illusion. And I mean, like, you're absolutely right. Like, time can heal if you're actually doing the work to heal, but you can't just sit around on your wounds and just expect them to heal. You actually have to, like, think of healing and doing the work and journaling and therapy. Think of that as, like, actually doctoring the wounds. Okay, I'm going to put a little ointment on it. I'm going to put a Band-Aid. I'm going to clean the wound. You think of it in that way. Now, if you have a wound and you just sitting around letting time pass, you're not cleaning it, you're not putting no ointment on it, you're not taking care of it, it's gonna get infected, it's gonna get worse, not gonna,
a perfect analogy.
I'm not, just call me Miss Analogy, they just be
Analogy. Like, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Healing Version podcast. And I'm trying to think of an intro for you. I'm like, oh yeah, and you listen to Deborah, aka Miss Analogy. Yeah, I
Hey, I
would.
be having the
I need to.
analogies.
I
Y'all
need to
gotta listen to my
remember
podcast.
because
I
I've used that
have.
intro for you when we're doing the chapter 2 of your pod on my podcast. So
Okay.
I'll use that
Yeah.
intro. I'll
Yeah.
definitely use it. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deborah. It's the conversation is
No
just
problem.
effortless. Yeah. I'm glad that we meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll be talking about healing, and I know, right? But I'm just going to do as if I don't know so that I can talk about it. I noticed that you have a podcast called what's the podcast called?
The healing version.
Okay, yeah, okay, the healing version. And then all these
Mhm.
things these snippets you've been dropping, these sound bites you've been, you go into the full details in the podcast, and it's just
Yes.
you talking about the stuff and dealing with what needs to be.
I have some guests come on. I've had my cousin come on a couple of times. I actually like when people come on and we have conversations. I'll have some guests coming on soon to actually talk about substance abuse. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I like to have those conversations that most people are afraid to have or that we were forbidden to talk about as kids. Like we don't talk about this and we don't talk about that. So right now on my podcast, I'm doing the family dysfunction. And this week, the episode that's coming out is about family being like a high school, the cliques, the gossiping, those things. So yeah, that'll be coming out this Thursday. I think that's one of the big problems is talking about people instead of pitching in and helping. Like you're not helping the cause, you just talking about it. Like
Yeah, it's easy
if
to
you see
talk.
somebody in need, somebody needs help, and most of the time the people who are talking and snickering and laughing, they got worse things going on. Like they shit stink, okay?
What?
Those people are the ones. So just to make sure y'all come listen to the episode. I'm not holding back. I'm gonna say what I need to
Ooh,
say what needs to
wow.
be said. That's one thing about it. I'm raw, uncut, and I don't hold back. I'm going to say what needs to be said because there's not enough me's out there. And so I gotta be bold enough and out with it because
Gotta be
ain't nobody
bold.
gonna say it. I gotta say it. I'm saying
Yeah,
what you thinking. I
yeah.
say what you are thinking.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Like, I know we're talking about one thing, but what you just saying, like, there's not enough meat. There's no other you out there, let alone not enough. And yeah, we need to stand and be bold about. And yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's the
nothing to
only way we're
gain
gonna see change.
trying to hide and
Holding people.
and and say, oh, hey, man, if I
Mhm.
say it, people will be scared. Let them be scared. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta hold people accountable. The problem is
Yeah.
nobody's holding nobody's accountable. So you have a whole bunch of people just like, oh, that's so and so just like that. They do that. They talk about people. That's just how they are. Well, they
How
need to
they are.
change. It's not okay.
How they
That's
are.
okay. That's how they've been all this time. So now what? Now change. Make a difference.
Yeah.
Surprise it.
Yeah. The thing is, for subtle things, okay, I won't say subtle because it's not subtle. For for things like the healing, the family dysfunction, and all those things, right? People say,
Mhm.
well, that's the way they are and all that. But if you had someone who was hardened criminal, right? You would actually deal with the issue. Is that you excommunicate them, you cut away from them, or you have them look at their ways and change things. But for other things, like, oh yeah, that's the way they talk. Some persons just come and they start talking trash to you and all those things. They're like, well, they can't help it. And I'm like,
They can help it. They can help it. It's just, so long people have made excuses for them and said,
yeah,
oh, that's just how they are. And so now they have an excuse to be that way because this is how I am. I've had grown men say, oh, I'm an a-hole. I'm an a-hole. People have been telling me I'm an a-hole all my life. Okay, that's not
uh,
a badge of honor. Change your ways. That's not
yeah,
cute that you're an a-hole.
yeah.
Like,
Wow.
what? Grown. Like, make it make sense. Like, for real.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why, but people just they I like the word. It's not a badge of honor. They feel like, oh yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. I'm a terrible person. Didn't you know that? Like, you're not the first person to tell me that, so I already knew that. And I'm like, dude, seriously, like, You need to
Right. So if more than one person is telling you that, that really is an indication that you need to change, because that means multiple people are seeing this about you. So it's not that it's you, it's okay, all these people seeing it. So maybe you should, step back and see what you need to do about it.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a crazy theory out there, right? There's no science behind it. It's just a crazy personal observation. I feel like most of the time, right, people lash out, people attack people because they have issues that they are running, right? And so the
Mhm.
best thing is to pour it on people, is to attack people and say, oh yeah, like for someone who has, what's an
Bullies.
issue? Yeah, bullies. Yeah, an example with
Bullies
bullies, right?
are a
Yeah,
perfect
a
example.
perfect example. So
Mhm.
they lash out, and then it's not the people, right? It's them. They need to deal with their own issue. They need to love themselves. They need to have their own self-esteem, their own self-worth, and uh, and that's underlining all those things. That's the root cause, and all these other things are just
Mhm.
symptoms of what's wrong. And so if they back to the thing, if they don't heal, if they don't give themselves permission to address they will just keep
Mhm.
on lashing out. Wow, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. It's my
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah. Wow. Where can people listen to your podcast and yeah,
So I do have a website now. It is thehealingversion.com. So if you go to thehealingversion.com, you can connect with me on all my social medias. You can get to all of the ways to listen to the Healing Version podcast. We are on all major platforms, as well as YouTube. So just go to thehealingversion.com. That's TheHealingVersion.com. No, I messed that up. TheHealingVersion.com. I'm like, what? I missed the word. So thehealingversion.com. And everything you need to know is there. And I would strongly suggest that you subscribe, because I'm going to have some giveaways coming out. I'm going to be sending out some great affirmations and some good tools, and just subscribe for all the goodies. That's all I'll
oh,
say.
I'll be sure to put all the links in the description so people can click and go directly to the site because at the point in time you did
Thank
confuse
you.
us.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Deborah. It's been an absolute delight to chat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.